Hey yo, everybody, let's go. So today I want to share my favorite movie of all time. Okay, just so you know, my list doesn't necessarily mean that it's the greatest movie of all time. My favorite list, what I mean is my favorite movie list doesn't have to be the greatest movie of all time. So some of the movie like 2001 Space Odyssey, right? So those movie I need to watch it again to make my favorite movie. Like I don't understand quite properly. And so movie like Wizard of Oz, I don't know. It's not on my list. Like Citizen Kane, the greatest movie of all time. It's not on my list. And also, I haven't watched some of the greatest movie of all time. I still need to watch that. But so far, this is the list. This list is among my favorite movie of all time. Let me start by saying that this, before I mention, start from classic to modern. I want to say my favorite movie of all time. As for now, it's The Big Lebowski, which will be on the list. It will be on the list somewhere around 90s. So that's my favorite movie. I have watched it for like three times, I think, intentionally. First movie is 1931 or 32. I don't know. I don't exactly remember, but everybody have watched it. It's City Lights. City Lights by Sir Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, man, come on. This is my favorite movie. This is the from the classic from 1930s. That's my favorite. Now let's go to second. It happened one night. I have a list here. It happened one night by Frank Capra. I think Frank Capra. It was played by Clark Gable, the magnetic, handsome guy. Man, come on, the king of the Hollywood. I think in one Indian movie played by Saif Ali Khan, they copied this movie. Happy Ending, Happy Ending. That was a terrible movie, man. Come on. Let's go to third one. Yeah, third one. This is my absolute film. It's a war movie. I think it's a story from the war movie. It's Casablanca. Casablanca. How do you say that? Casablanca. I think, yeah. Casablanca. It's played by Humphrey Bogart. Absolutely handsome, gorgeous man. Man, come on. It's from 1940s. Now, I don't exactly remember the year. I have watched it like previous year, not this year, but not long ago. So I remember exactly how it is and how romantic the movie is. Fourth one is a streetcar named Desire. This is my absolute favorite. This is how when Marlon Brando started the movie. Marlon Brando is my favorite movie actor of all time, man. It's the early 1950s, yeah, 1950s. I don't remember who. I don't even know the director, but it was played by Marlon Brando and Vivian Lee. Vivian Lee, a Hollywood classic. And the next one, number five. Number five, I think, is Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain by Gene Kelly, played by Gene Kelly. I don't know the director, but I think this is Singing in the Rain is the best best musical movie of all time. It's absolutely beautiful and everything about it is great. The modern musical movie is also good. Some like La La Land and the previous last year movie Tick Tick Boom. It's great, but this movie is undefeated as for musical movie. Yeah, musical drama. I don't know how to say that. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Next one is number six. I think, right. Number six. Number six. It's Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. I don't know how to say that name, man. I always confused with that name. It's a Japanese movie. It's a long movie, to be fair, and then it's so great. It's, I don't know. They talk about the wide range of the camera. I don't know how to say that, but it was spectacular. And the next one is On the Waterfront. On the Waterfront, it's also from 1954. It's played obviously by Marlon Brando, one of the greatest movie. Also my favorite movie. This is my list for favorite movie, as you know. So On the Waterfront, that's on my seventh list, seven I think, right? I don't know. I lost count on the number, but it doesn't matter. But let's see which one next. Next is 12 Angry Men. 12 Angry Men is one of the best movie with a not they confined in a single room and they finish the movie, but the movie is so great, the great dialogue and everything. It was played by Henry Fonda. Henry Fonda, yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't know the director name. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is number 8 or 9. Okay, it doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. It's Vertigo. It's Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock, the greatest director of all time. Everybody knows him. The Psycho. I love Psycho, but I'm gonna put the list Psycho, the North by Northwest, and then which other one? A Rear Window. Every movie is great, but I'm putting Vertigo on my list. Okay. So let's forget about that one now, and then number 10. Number 10. It's still 1950s movie. It's Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur, man, Ben-Hur is so great. It's a long ass movie, man, and I think it's also from late 1950s. It's played by Charlton Copley. It's the movie about the era from the where God, Jesus Christ, is preaching at that time. I don't know, and it also have. Okay, next one is. Next one, number 11, I think. Number 11 is La Dolce Vita. La Dolce Vita is 1960 movies. I remember exactly that one because I haven't watched that. I watched that like day before yesterday only. It was an Italian movie. La Dolce Vita. La Dolce Vita. It's by Federico Fellini, I think, something like that. His name is. It's a great Italian movie director, and this movie is so great. This movie. So stylish, everything very classic, and it's a great movie. It's absolutely beautiful. I really enjoy watching that movie. And then starting, it's that La Dolce Vita is the starting of the 1960s in my list, on my list. Now the number 12 movie, I think. What did I write here? Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia is so great, man. It's long. The movie is long, obviously. Even the La Dolce Vita, I think it's like almost 3 hours. And Lawrence of Arabia, it's also a long movie. It's the early 1960s movie, and it was played by Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole, right? I think like it's a British commander story about the British commander who died in a very young age, but his journey in the Arabic world during the revolution time. Yeah, it's a story about that. It's so great. Now let's move on to number 12. Number 12, I think. It's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Come on, man. This is the best Western movie of all time. Everything is so great about this movie. Like everybody, every filmmaker, every great director, they all love this movie, in my opinion. Like Quentin Tarantino, he always mentioned this movie in his list, and it's so great. I love that movie. It's a long movie also. It was played by who is that? Clint Eastwood. Even Clint Eastwood is even a great director, not only a famous actor. I love his movie. So The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of the favorite favorite classic Western movie, along with Once Upon a Time in the West, directed by Sergio Leone. Both the movie directed by Sergio Leone, and it was so great. The next on the list, it's 13. 13 is Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. It was played by Paul Newman. I don't know the other guy. Paul Newman, he's absolutely charming, and everybody, he's the most charming guy, man. The handsome guy from the classic era of the movie Hollywood. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids. Next on my list, it's from the 1970s now. 1970s. This is 14. You know, I think we're on the 14. 14. Let's start by The Godfather. Man, The Godfather. It's the greatest movie of all time. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. It's the classic movie. How to say that? Yeah, come on. Everything about it is so great. Marlon Brando is so great. Don Vito Corleone is one of the best movie character of all time. Like if we talk about movie character, Don Vito Corleone, James Bond, they were like undefeated character. Like you know that, right? Movie character, best movie character, and Godfather. They all, it's so good. 1, 2, everything is good. But I'm only putting number Godfather 1 on my list. It's 1972. I don't forget that one. I'm not even confused about that one. And number 14, it's Chinatown. Chinatown by Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski. I watched this Roman Polanski movie. Everything is so great. The 2002 or 1, I don't know. The Pianist, played by Adrien Brody. He is the director of that movie, and he won an Oscar for best director on that movie. Roman Polanski. It's a great director, and Chinatown is one of the best Roman Polanski movie in my opinion. And it was played by Jack Nicholson, the badass of the Hollywood industry, and it is so great. Jack Nicholson is my favorite of all time. Like among the movie actor, like Marlon Brando, Jack Nicholson, Paul Newman, and many more, as you will see from the list. Okay, so and the next one is also from it's also 1975 movies. It's also played by Jack Nicholson. It's One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. It's one of the favorite. It's one of my favorite, as you can see. I have already mentioned that before. It's the list of my favorite movie, of course. So One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. It's 1975 movies by Jack Nicholson, not direct by Jack Nicholson, but I don't know the director name, but it was played by Jack Nicholson. So it's great, and I really love this movie. So it's on 15 or 16, yeah, 16, let's say. Now on 17, it's Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver, come on, man, this is the movie that start everything, let's say. It's Martin Scorsese, and it start everything. When I say it start everything, I forgot to mention. I mean, it's the start of the combination between Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. It's like best duo, director actor duo of all time, the number one. So Taxi Driver is absolutely one of my favorite movie. It tells a story about the veterans guy who hate how his city has become. Yeah, let me just mention a bit like that. Okay, so Taxi Driver, it's 1976 movie by Martin Scorsese and played by Robert De Niro. So this is one of the greatest movie of all time. Also on my favorite list. And then where are we? Number 17. Number 7 is Drunken Master. Come on, man, Drunken Master. I thought that Drunken Master was like 1990s movie that we used to watch in 2000 when we were young. Drunken Master, played by Jackie Chan. Absolutely favorite movie, man. When I was young, I always loved this movie. Till now, I love this movie. This is absolutely on my favorite list of all time. Even if I watch a lot of great movie which I didn't watch by now, Drunken Master will always be on my list. Of course, this whole list will always be on my list, man. This is a great stuff, man. This is great movie. So Drunken Master is on my 1980s. My favorite movie. Let's start by The Shining. The Shining. It's still by Jack Nicholson, man. Man, I love Jack Nicholson movie. I never realized that, man. It's Jack Nicholson movie. And it was directed by Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick, absolutely favorite, and he's a perfectionist. Everything about it is great. It's based on Stephen King novels. The Shining, it was played by Jack Nicholson, and it is so great. The Shining by Jack Nicholson and Stanley Kubrick. Like, come on. So let's move on to the next one. It's the next one is 19 on my next list. 19. It's 1981 movies by Steven Spielberg. This is the greatest adventure movie of all time, in my opinion. Greatest adventure movie of all time. I love adventures movie, but yeah, and this is the greatest adventure movie of all time, I think, in my opinion. Also my favorite. It's Raider in the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones Raider of the Lost Ark. So it's 1981 movies, Raider of the Lost Ark. That's on my 19th list. Now let's move on to the next one. It's 20. It's Scarface, man. Come on, Scarface. So it's played by Al Pacino, obviously, but I don't know the director. It was a remake, I think. I don't know, right? Something like that. It was played by Michelle Pfeiffer and Al Pacino. It was a very, very great movie, a badass movie. It's like forever classic, and I really love that one. And the next one, it's still from 1980s, early 1980s. It's Term of Endearment. Term of Endearment still tell us the story about the daughter and mother relationship. I think, yeah, that's it. It also starred Jack Nicholson again. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Next, we finished there for 1980s. Now let's move on to 1990s. 1990s. There's a lot of movie that I love from 1990s. Let's start by Goodfellas. Goodfellas by Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Rio Liotta, and it was directed by Martin Scorsese. It was definitely my favorite crime movie, mafia movie, let's say. I love every movie from by Martin Scorsese, like Raging Bull. It was from 1980s. I don't mention that on my list, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of Martin Scorsese movies, so I don't want every movie to be Martin Scorsese list, man. So 1990, Goodfellas by Martin Scorsese. That's on my list for, I think it's 22, right? 22 on, and now let's move on to 23. 23 is The Silence of the Lambs. The Silence of the Lambs. It was played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, and how come I forget that girl's name, man? I'm so sorry about that one. I don't know the director obviously, so but it was played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, and it was one of the greatest. He is one of the greatest villain of all time, man. Anthony Hopkins, Silence of the Lambs. Okay, now let's move on to the next list. 25, right? 23 or 24, 25. It doesn't matter. It's Dazed and Confused. Dazed and Confused by Richard Linklater. I know this one very well because this movie, it starts the coolest. It introduced us the coolest Hollywood actor, Matthew McConaughey. Man, come on. Dazed and Confused. It's a teenage movie. It's like a best hangout movie. Okay, now let's move on to. It's still 1990s movie. It's 1993's Schindler List by Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, absolutely the greatest director of all time. Raider of the Lost Ark, he directed one, I forgot to mention. And E.T. Terrestrial, it's not on my list, but some of the great movies like Jaws, Jurassic Park, it's not on my list, but it can be on my list. But like I said, it's same as Martin Scorsese movie. I don't want to mention a lot of directors, so I choose my favorite one. So I choose Raider of the Lost Ark and the Schindler List because I have to choose those. Schindler List, I think, is the best Holocaust movie. Best Holocaust movie, absolutely played absolutely stunningly performed by Liam Neeson as Oscar Schindler and Ben Kingsley as his assistant. It was one of the greatest movie, and Steven Spielberg is just undefeated. So 1993 Schindler List is the best Holocaust movie. I think that's 25. Now let's move on to the 26. It's Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption. It's a 1994 movie. It's one of the best movie. I love Morgan Freeman. Come on, yeah, his voice is so chilling and it's so great. It's so great. Shawshank Redemption, 1994. Shawshank Redemption. It's one of the greatest movie of all time. Everybody knows it, and this movie has the most satisfaction ending, satisfying ending, the most satisfying ending, let's say. So Shawshank Redemption is obviously so great. It was also a novel by Stephen King, I think, yeah. And the next one is still 1994 movies, Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump. They say that it signifies the American cultures, and I can understand that. I don't understand a lot about American culture, but Forrest Gump, it's a great movie. So that's on my list. That's 26. Now let's move on to 27. It's Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. Come on. I mentioned a lot of Quentin Tarantino movie. I will be mentioning a lot of Quentin Tarantino movie. Pulp Fiction. It's one of the greatest movie of all time, and it's also one of my favorite movie of all time. If I have to make a list for my favorite movie of all time, Pulp Fiction will be on my top 10 list. So Pulp Fiction, it's absolutely beautiful. So it's my 27th, or it's on my 27th list. Now let's move on to another one. It's The Lion King. The Lion King. I think Lion King is the best animated movie of all time, and like Hakuna Matata's, like it's unforgettable, and it's one of the greatest movie of all time. Also on my favorite list, of course, I mentioned it a lot. And the next one, it's still 1994 movies. 1994, I don't know, man. It's so great. The next one on my list, on my 29th list, it's The Mask by Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. The Mask, absolutely favorite when I grow up. I love this movie, and it's still great. And next is 1995 movies. On my 30 list, it's the Toy Story. The Toy Story by, I don't know the director, but it's Tom Hanks movie, of course. Tim Allen, Tom Hanks. It's one of the greatest animated movie of all time. It's Toy Story, 1995. Okay, now let's move on to number 31. It's another Steven Spielberg movie. I think it's late 1980s. I don't know the exact year for that movie, but I don't even write. Some I write on the list. I don't write this one. It's Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan, I think is the greatest war movie of all time. War movie. So it's on my 31 list. You know, everybody knows, so I don't need to mention a lot about that. And on my 32, it's The Big Lebowski. As I mentioned before I start the video, The Big Lebowski by the Coen brothers. It was played by my favorite movie star, Jeff Bridges, the dude himself. So The Big Lebowski is obviously my favorite movie. Like, it's my number one spot right now. I don't think I might change my mind in the future, but this one is absolutely my favorite movie, The Big Lebowski. Now let's move on to number 32. 32, it's The Matrix. Yeah, man, The Matrix 1 is so great. I don't know about the other. That's not. It's not on my favor. I don't like the other part of the second, third installment of the movie. But Matrix 1, this is like one of the best. It's untouchable. Now let's move on to number 33. 33, right? We're on 33. So the 33, it's Fight Club by David Fincher. Come on, man. Played by Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, Helena Bonham Carter. It was one of the greatest movie of all time, and also the best. Let's say the best. So, Fight Club is on my list, and let's move on to the next one, shall we? Come on. It's the next one is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon by Ang Lee. This guy this director direct Brokeback Mountain, which I haven't watched yet, but it's one of the famous movie. I haven't watched Brokeback Mountain yet, but this Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, it's a Chinese movie, so it's so good. It's definitely the best Chinese movie. It's Hidden Dragon, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, 2000 movie. Now let's move on to next one. It's 35, right? 35, I think, yeah. 35. It's Sida. Let me say with Brazil. It's a Brazilian movie. Next on the list, number 35 is a Brazilian movie. It's called Cidade de Deus. It was translated as City of God in English. It's absolutely beautiful. It tells us the story about two kids who grow up to have different passion in the Rio de Janeiro neighborhood. One become criminal, one become photographer. It's one of the best. I haven't watched a lot of international movie, but Brazilian movie Cidade de Deus. It's absolutely one of my favorite. So let's move on to another one. It's 2003 movies by Bong Joon-ho. Yeah. The guy who direct Parasites. The guy who direct Parasite. Parasites is one of the best, but it's 2003's movie Memory of Murder. Absolutely one of my favorites. So don't need to mention a lot about that. Just if you want to watch the movie, I recommend you definitely check it out. So let's move on to next list. It's 36 or 37. It's Pan's Labyrinth. It's a Mexican movie, I think, Spanish movie by Guillermo del Toro. It's 2000. I don't know, but it's like 2005 or 6. I watched that not long ago, and it is so great. I don't need to mention a lot about that one. So now let's move on to number 37 or 38. It's best James Bond movie of all time. I think this one is the best James Bond movie, in my opinion. It's Casino Royale by Daniel Craig. Yeah. So I think this is the best James Bond movie of all time. Daniel Craig, Casino Royale. It's amazing. So there we go. Let's move on to number 39. It's 2007 movie again. It's by Coen brother. There will be blood. No. Coen brother doesn't direct that movie. It's No Country for Old Men. I'm sorry. It was played by Javier Bardem and Tommy Lee Jones and the guy who played Thanos. I don't remember his name right now, man. Come on, what's wrong with me? Josh Brolin. Yeah, it was played by Josh Brolin. Yeah, they played the movie, and it was absolutely the best modern Western movie. And the next one is There Will Be Blood by Paul Thomas Anderson, played by Sir Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis, one of the best actor of all time. He won 3 Oscar, man. All of his movies so great. Lincoln, I have watched that Lincoln. I haven't watched My Left Foot yet, but I think it was great. Yeah, of course. So, and The Gang of New York, 2003 movie. I think it's also starred Leonardo DiCaprio and Liam Neeson. Now let's move on to the next one. Next one, I think it's Inception. But I love the movie. I love the movie, but I think I need to watch that again. No, I understand. I think, yeah. Inception by Christopher Nolan, and it's so great. Again, 2008 movie, The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, everybody knows the Batman movie. Starred Christian Bale and Heath Ledger as the best Joker, I think. Joker, every guy who plays Joker, it's great, man. Jack Nicholson, he plays Joker in 1980s. I don't know Michael Keaton, the guy who played Batman. It's so great, and the latest one, 2019 Joker, played by Joaquin Phoenix. It's so great. Joaquin Phoenix, one of the greatest living actor right now. So there we go. That's 2008, The Dark Knight. It's on my list. It's like 41, I think, right? And now let's move on to the next one. It's the Grand Budapest Hotel, 2014 Grand Budapest Hotel by Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson, I love every Wes Anderson movie, from Mr. Fantastic Fox to the Royal Tenenbaum, right? I love every movie by Wes Anderson. It's so good. The everything. 2014 movie, The Grand Budapest Hotel, is one of the best architect movie. Now let's move on to the next one. It's 2013 movie. Okay, no, never mind. It's The Wolf of the Wall Street. Come on, man. The Wolf of the Wall Street is one of the best movie performance done by the actor in the 20th century by Leonardo DiCaprio. That movie is so great. The Wolf of the Wall Street, and we also got a lot of memes from that movie. So Wolf of the Wall Street, it's by Martin Scorsese, of course. Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio, starring alongside Margot Robbie and Jonah Hill and a lot of them. Now let's move on to the next one. It's Interstellar. Interstellar, it's starred by Christopher Nolan. No, not starred, direct by Christopher Nolan, and played by the cool guy, Matthew McConaughey, and our girl Anne Hathaway. Come on, I messed that one up. Played by Anne Hathaway, right? Yeah, that's it. And Interstellar, it's so great. 2014 movie. And now let's move on to next one. It's 2000. Now I forgot to mention one movie. It's 2012 movie by Quentin Tarantino. It's Django Unchained, starring Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx, absolutely cool guy, man, and Christoph Waltz and Leonardo DiCaprio and Samuel L. Jackson, the best dude, the guy who swear the most on televisions, on movie screen. It's absolutely the best. Django Unchained is so good. And Kerry Washington, come on, man, Kerry Washington, the absolute queen. They play the movie. Django Unchained is one of my favorite movie. It's so great. And now let's move on to another one. It's 2017 movie by Christopher Nolan again. It's Dunkirk. Yeah, Dunkirk. It's a war movie. It's really a movie about how humanity saved the world during the World War II. It's Dunkirk, 2017 movie. And now let's move on to the next one. It's Parasite. Yeah, Parasite. It's one of the greatest movie. We all know that. And I love this guy, the director. And last year movie, Coda, 2021 movie, Coda. That will be on my list. My last list from the movie, from my favorite movie list. Coda, 2021. So there we go. That's the movie. That's my favorite list of movie. I've mentioned a lot of them. I haven't mentioned a lot of them. I make some mistake, but there we go. That's my favorite movie list of all time. Thank you so much.